there. Thought. It's not that we are judging or anything, we are trying to serve each other. So please participate and take benefit of association of our friends here. Yes, Prabhu. Janadar Prabhu can start, and now projector has to start. बहुत मैनेजमेंट आता है इसका. So, yeah, so Prabhu, short prayers.
Yeah.
Please. Okay.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalake Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So my theme is superior support during crisis. So we'll be seeing 6 scenarios, in which I think the first 3 was covered in the previous presentation, more or less. We'll be seeing the aspects of few instructions which they gave to their candidates or subjects, and what lessons we can learn from them. So there are many lessons to learn, so I have limited to maximum 3 lessons from each scenario. So I have categorized the interaction also based on a few categories, as you can see here. Suniti and Dhruva, mother and son, or a counselor and counselee relationship. Narada Muni, like spiritual master, speaking specifically to the desire of the disciple. Swayambhu Manu and Dhruva are grandfather and grandson, and the interaction also has the touch of that. Brahma and Prithu are authority. There's a trouble in the universe and how to do so. And Vishnu and Prithu is more Lord and devotee are talking, and how the transaction happens. And finally, Narada Muni and Prachina Parishad, where Narada Muni is acting like a sadhu who is in Krishna consciousness, and he is trying to reach to a materialist. So these are the 6 things. Then after that, we'll be seeing separately preaching application, personal application, and modern mission of Prabhupada. So I have divided the first, what is the crisis, and then the lesson. So this story has already been explained, so I will not go much into it. The specific crisis Dhruva had is the reprimandation of Suruchi when he wanted to sit on his father Uttanapad's lap. So there are nice instructions which Suniti has given. So I have divided these lessons into 3: non-envy, pertinence, and faith in Vishnu. So non-envy aspect which we can see is that when Suruchi told something, first thing what his mother told, that don't wish anything inauspicious for others. Inflicting pain upon others, suffers himself from that pain. So the main aspect which Suruchi told was to take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that he can take birth in next life from her womb. So although it was very harsh to hear, it was factual that the ultimate shelter is Lord himself. So give up this envious attitude and focus on what is good from the instruction. So she did not specifically speak ill about the person who was causing the harm. So His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj took this section in Kunji Bari, where he told the shiksha should be not of dvesh. So we are not in here to propagate dvesh parampara, but shiksha parampara. So even when there is gold in a filthy place, we take it. Or when we say that you hate the sin, not the sinner. So that aspect, his mother told him not to be envious and focus on what can be done. Then specifically, she gave examples from her own family, how Brahmaji also prayed to Vishnu so that he can get all the material assets to run the universe. Swayambhu Manu, his grandfather, also prayed. So those are pertinent examples which is giving confidence to the boy, or in the case counselor is giving counseling some guidance. So here you can see severe penances and austerities were performed by Brahma. So Brahma, she is quoting here. But also he should be dependent on the mercy of the Lord. So both go hand in hand. And here Ekamatya, if anyone wants even material happiness, he should worship the Lord without any deviation. She is telling to take full shelter of personality of Godhead and do the needful. And not only that, she is understanding that presently Dhruva Maharaj is having this idea that something material he wants. But yet she is trying to increase the faith in Vishnu. So she is telling how Lord is Bhakta Vatsalya. Even though he is just 5 years old, he will not be able to do any other process, karma kanda or whatever. But to worship Vishnu, there is no conditions. So, and he is very merciful and he will certainly help you. And she is also telling that even the goddess of fortune is actually in the service of Lord Vishnu. So need not take shelter of any other person except Lord Vishnu. No need to accept any worship demigods. And demigods, the benedictions are not in the level of the benedictions from Vishnu. So these three are the lessons which I felt is important for us also to learn. So next scenario is where Dhruva Maharaj is in the forest, but he does not know exactly what to do. So then Narada Muni arrives at the scene, and Narada Muni first tries to test Dhruva Maharaj. So these three lessons I found is important for us. First is preliminary trial. So as previous presentation the speaker was telling, your intelligent means you should accept whatever comes, and favorable or unfavorable, because it is of supreme will. Such austerities are not possible for an ordinary man. And when you grow up, certainly Lord will give you a chance at that time. So all these things are where the spiritual master is testing the disciple. And naturally so, because he has to see what kind of desire the person has and what kind of path he wants to follow. And after assessing, Dhruva Maharaj frankly tells that whatever instructions you may giving here, it's nice, but I am not able to follow. He tells, give me a honest path. So he doesn't want to take any shortcuts, but wants an honest path. So he gives aligned guidance. Aligned guidance means according to the level of the disciple, he is giving guidance. And he acknowledges the advice of his mother. So there also he is aligning. So how Suniti aligned to Suruchi, Narada Muni is aligning with his mother and telling that what she told is correct and is just suitable for you. And he also again re-emphasizes that whatever may be the desire, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, one should engage in the devotional service of the Lord. And not only that, further he tells the step-to-step process based on his inclination. So initially he gives the aspects of Ashtanga Yoga to him, and then he gives the mantra, then he tells the description of the Lord, all his features, then tells him to make the deity of the Lord and focus on the deity. So here are some steps I mentioned. Go to the Yamuna, bathe in the rivers of Yamuna, practice 3 kinds of breathing exercises. So all these are specifically for a disciple. So the disciple and spiritual master relationship is something which enables the spiritual master to give guidance which may be unconventional, because each individual disciple is different. And so he gave, although he was coming for the specific ask of a kingdom greater than his great grandfather, and yet he engaged him in such a way that eventually he will understand what is the real desire or what is the real goal of life. Thirdly, we have Swayambhu Manu and Dhruva's interaction. The crisis was that Uttam was killed by a snake bite. So Dhruva Maharaj is angry, but his anger became very preposterous and he ended up killing so many yakshas. So Manu comes to know and he comes and tries to give him guidance. So 3 things: course correction, big picture and rectifications. So just like when Krishna was guiding Arjuna, he used to take the name of, oh son of Kunti, oh the greatest of Bharatavarsha. So the family connection he reminded. Same way here also, he is reminding that it is not approved by the authorities and it does not befit our family and it is not according to the religious principles. And he also gives him the reality check that what he is doing and what does happen. So one yaksha killed his brother, but to kill so many yakshas is becoming an offense. And also he tries to take him over to the soul platform. Should not accept the body as the self, and thus like animals kill others. So this is especially forbidden for shadely persons like him who has already seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then he gives the big picture beyond the body, because every relationship in this world is simply illusory material energy of the Supreme Lord. And then by the interaction of the three modes, all creation, annihilation and maintenance is happening. And who are the real killers? The yakshas are not the real killers, but the birth and death of a living entity are caused by the Supreme, who is the cause of all causes. So he gives him the knowledge with which he can understand what is wrong, and he also gives some rectifications, both in thought process as well as in what he has to do practically. The first he tells, please turn your attention to Supreme Lord and focus on Him. By self-realization, you will find this material differentiation is a mere flickering. Then he tells practically, go, whoever is really upset, go and ask forgiveness with gentle words and prayers. So this is a holistic guidance. It's not like you just come and tell this is wrong and you go off. So he told what is wrong and he told how to rectify, both in the mental level as well as in the physical level. The next scenario is where Prithu Maharaj is involved and Brahma and Vishnu are coming. So the crisis here is Indra is trying to do some irreligious behavior to stop Prithu Maharaj's 100th sacrifice. So this photo is of Prithu Maharaj's son trying to get the horse back. So here the most important and all-encompassing lesson which I found is form versus substance. So there are only 10 verses in which the Brahma is speaking to Prithu Maharaj, but all these are focused on this aspect that Prithu Maharaj's incarnation was to establish religious principles, because his father Vena was very mischievous and he was very atrociously breaking all principles. And the very fact of performing the yajna was to satisfy the demigods, but Indra happening to be the king of the demigods, if he himself is getting killed, the purpose is lost. So substance is what is the focus here. Mission is focused more than the method. So method is, as long as it is used to help the mission, then it is good. But if the same method is creating some hindrance, then we should see what is wrong. So practically, if you see many different avenues we preach, through youth preaching or through fund collection, online preaching. So everything is a method which we are trying, and some methods are working and some methods will work now, some methods will work later. So we should not be attached to the method or form, but to the substance. That was Brahma's guidance. And he also told that if there are some reversals, we have to check. Instead of rectifying the reversals, that will lead us to the Akasa region. Then apart from that, we should accept what is going on. The irreligious principles created by Indra will become the mother of unwanted religions. So he cautioned this because his purpose was to reduce irreligiosity. But in the sake of doing some yajna, if irreligion is going to increase, then that means that something is wrong. Then Vishnu comes, pleased by the behavior of Prithu Maharaj. So here I put the crisis as Prithu Maharaj's dilemma in execution of his duties towards his citizens. Because basically he was setting an example for the citizens to follow. Previously he forced the earth to give proper facilities and materials so that the earth will be prosperous. And now he is setting an example of different levels of people are there. So for people who are having faith in yajnas, he is doing so many yajnas. So what is the goal of such endeavors also? Then Vishnu is clarifying. So two aspects I have taken, goal of Varnashrama and the duties of an ideal king. So goal of Varnashrama is that no matter what kind of political emancipation or social and humanitarian activities we take, but all are in the platform of the body. So ultimately it will be illusory because bodily platform is illusory. Soul is the eternal entity. So that's why all those sacrificial performance are done for setting an example for the ordinary people, but there was no need for Prithu Maharaj to do it in such an expansive way. Prithu Maharaj now has to set an example that goal of Varnashrama is to engage ultimately in the loving service of the Lord without any material motivation. That is the purpose of the occupational duty. Then the last two instructions which Vishnu gives is about the ideal king. So the ideal king should not be disturbed by temporary happiness or distress and execute his duty in whatever condition Vishnu is putting him. The executive head, so then he tells what happens if he simply focused on only collecting taxes and not the ultimate welfare of the people. So the impious reactions will come on the king himself. Because education based on shastras is important so that people understand the occupational duty and what is the purpose of the occupational duty. So in the purport, Prabhupada gives the example of a businessman, because now we are telling that we should serve Vishnu or remember Vishnu while simultaneously taking care of the occupational duties. So how it will be possible? So he gives the example of businessman going in a car. So although the car belongs to him, the driver belongs to him, the businessman is not thinking of what is happening in the car or in which traffic the car is stuck or on which road he is going. But he is sitting in the car and thinking about what kind of business he can do, how he can improve. So same way, the soul is also in this body, but the soul's consciousness is to remember Krishna while he is going through this world. So that is the goal of the Varnashram karma. Then the final example is of Narada Muni and Prachina Barhi. So as such, there was no immediate crisis in Prachina Barhi's life, but Krishna conscious sadhu is seeing how the pious materialist is not able to see the real purpose of life. So that's why I've written here, Prachina Barhi is stuck with the performing fruity activities throughout his life. So Narada Muni took compassion and he came and he told him what is the ultimate purpose of life is Krishna consciousness. But because he was fully engaged in pious materialistic activities, he did not directly tell. So these two translations I've put here is the final thing which he is telling forcefully. Because of your foolishness, you do not know that service to Lord is the supreme. Your only activities should be to please Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is our best friend and everyone to take shelter of his lotus feet. But he uses these two stories, Puranjana's story and Deer's analogy. So here we can see that he doesn't have faith. So where there is no faith, the Krishna conscious sadhu tries to give him faith. So there are different ways, like Prakasananda Saraswati, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and he took a humble role. He sat in the place where we are washing foot. And then he came, he started serving him and appreciating him. That gave him the sukriti or some faith which was needed initially. Here, Prajina Bari is spending time with Narada Muni and the whole story is listening. And then he is not making sense. Then again Narada Muni explains. So as and when he is learning the story, he is getting some faith. Some other example, Mahabharata is one book where such kind of approach is used. So where there is no faith, we give faith. And where there is faith, we give knowledge. So after he got certain amount of faith, then he gave the deer analogy. It was even more direct. And then finally he gave the knowledge according to the level of faith which the person has. So in that way, Krishna conscious sadhu goes about. So nowadays there are pious materialists, even they are doing a show of doing Krishna Bhakti. Like they have 7-day kathas. And now in the youth there is a recent trend of bhajan clubbing. People go to a club and they do bhajan. So all these are appearing to be very spiritual, but then these are all material trends which are going on in the name of bhakti. So we should understand this, and understand the purpose is to ultimately understand what is the goal of life, that is to practice Krishna consciousness. So these are some lessons from the guidance of different seniors which we saw. Coming to personal application, so this verse was covered previously also. So this was one of the verses which Narada Muni speaks to Dhruva Maharaj before he tells that I'm not able to gel with what you're telling. But this is an important verse, especially for brahmacharis like us. Gunadikan mudam lipset anukrosham gunadamat maitrim samanam anviche na tapay abhibhuyate. So specifically I have marked the third line because I want to focus on that. So when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, he will not be affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. So there are three levels of friendship. So this I heard from Radhesham Prabhu recently. There is Mitra, there is Bandhu, and there is Suhrit. Interestingly, Aristotle also has spoken about these three levels. The first level is Mitra, or the level of utility. Utility means you come together somewhere, say you go to IISc programs. There you meet someone and you are divided into groups. Then you start interacting. So it is more of an acquaintance. It is not friendship. So utility is over, friendship is over. And the second level is Bandhu. Bandhu means you have the level of pleasure. So if you are with him, you have some kind of pleasure. Or if you are with a relative, you come and some function is there, you come, you sit together, you chat, and then you go off. So when the pleasure is over, when the back scratching is over, then that fails. But the final level is Hurut, means he is a well-wisher. So that is the level of virtue. Virtue means he wants you to succeed, whether or not I am succeeding. So that is the third level. So it is not that the other two levels are not real. There are also certain levels of friendship, but reality is that is their level. It is what it is. So we should understand that when we have equal relationship properly, then threefold miseries will not affect. Why? Because we have a system where we can take guidance from superiors and have heart-to-heart conversation with equals and help the people who are under us with our experience. So in this way, we are able to, even if the situations come about, we will be able to handle them. So that's why this verse is very important for us. Second is where Manu is telling Dhruva about anger. Eno prastar purushal loka udvijate brisham na badustad vahasam gachit iccha nabhayam atmana. The world should not fall under the control of anger. Because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for others. So we should not be a source of dread for others, and others should also not be a source of dread for us. Because these are very extreme emotions. So Prabhupada gives the example of Jesus Christ in this purport. How he was, although he was getting crucified, he prayed to the Lord that they don't know what they are doing, please forgive them. So that is the level of the sadhu. So deeper, if you go in this, we can see that if there is no sense of what you call security or the sense of groundedness with our relationship with Krishna, that is when these extreme emotions will overcome us. So even in Bhaktivedanta Sindhu, it is told as the 16th Anga of devotional service, Sokadi Avasavartita. So someone can read the translation. Who has mic?
Yeah. Also illustrated in Padma Puran.
Yeah, so one of the angas of bhakti is that we should not be controlled by lamentation or other emotions. So we should be in a neutral state, not like neutral means without emotions. But if you are in extreme emotions, it's difficult to do bhakti properly. So that is what I wanted to share as personal application. Because of anger, now Dhruva Maharaj is doing as an example for us where anger comes, even if he's a practicing devotee or whatever it is, but it will disturb his devotion service. So that is one thing which I wanted to tell. Then preaching application. So this is from Brahma's instructions. So it is the nature of all living entities within the material world to become envious of their competitors and invent so many religious systems. So we are in this material world. So, and nature of envy is natural. So even if you are doing something good. So in our preaching endeavors, also very naturally we will have this scenario where someone is trying to stop our preaching. So here in this scenario, Prithu Maharaj is a pure person or person with pure faith. And the so-called senior who is above, he is Indra, he is having mixed faith. So many times we believe we also put in a scenario where such a scenario is there where some person is having mixed faith but he is in a higher position but he is in a good authoritative position. And we are trying to do and unnecessarily we are getting disturbance. And then so what we will do? So we will some people can question the whole institution, some people question Krishna, but the fact is that although there may be sufficient cause for being unhappy, one should avoid counteracting such reversals because if we are doing that, he will be implicated in further reversals. So what we can do is, we know that Bhagavad Gita Krishna tells, Yehi samsarsa jabhoga dukkha yone evate adi antavata kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Then again, Manu mamupeta punajarma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So this is a place of dukkha. So we accept it. And what is in our position is to improve our consciousness. So that we can improve. Just like Prithu Maharaj, he did not go for the 100th yagya, but still he became even more glorious than Indra. The purpose is to satisfy Vishnu. So if the purpose is lost, our endeavor to preach also is to satisfy our Guru Parampara. But in that endeavor, if some irreligious activity is being done, so the point is lost. So that way we should see the big picture and move forward. So this is a letter which Prabhupada, morning walk conversation, where a devotee is asking that devotees are more unhappy than the karmis because he knows that he is unhappy. But Prabhupada tells that means he is not a devotee. Then the devotee is confused. He is not a devotee? Then Prabhupada is telling, can you read this Prabhupada's? Someone can read.
Devotee means the first sign will be happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. If he is not Prasannatma, he is a rascal. He has not entered even devotional life. He is outside. That is the test. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. When he saw Vishnu, he said everything is alright. I don't want anything. Swamin Kritarthosmi. That is Vaishnav. And if he is still in want of unhappiness, that means that he has no spiritual life at all. He is simply making a show.
So what I gather from this is that all the purpose of our endeavors is to have some reciprocation with the Lord. And now if that reciprocation is coming, that may not be, materially some post or some kind of metrics. But if that reciprocation is coming in the heart, that is what we are endeavoring for, and that should be our goal. And that if that is there, then we will not be unhappy with whatever is happening. Finally, mood and mission of Prabhupada. So just like Narada Muni was not attached to the method but to the mission of saving souls, he took two different approaches with Dhruva and Prachini. Same way, Prabhupada is also in the same mood. So he did many radical things while preaching in the West. First of all, he went to the West. People did not come here. So, and he, being a sannyasi, did all wedding ceremonies. And he started Brahmacharya ashram. He gave Gayatri mantra to female disciples. He converted, Shamshan Graha and church also to temples. So all these were radical things because he was not attached to the details but to the essence that people should get Krishna consciousness. Finally, this purport is where Vaidarbhi is in separation of Malaya Dvaja, where Prabhupada is specifically writing about what is the duty of an acharya and what is the duty of a disciple of the acharya. So Acharya, the authorized representative, establishes these principles. What principles? To worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfect disciples sincerely follow the instructions of the spiritual master. So Krishna Consciousness movement is started to save the world from the irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with the movement in order to actually bring about peace and happiness. So this is the mood of Srila Prabhupada, that somehow we have to engage everyone in Krishna consciousness. And there are different ways to do. Currently, some of the Vartamana Acharyas, some are focusing on sustainability as a concept to attract people. Some are focusing on cultural and drama to attract people. So there are different avenues to preach. But the basic goal is that we should save the movement from the irreligious principles. One observation which I had is, in all the 6 examples, at least in the 5 of them, the senior is going to the junior, in the sense when a person is sincerely trying to do something, it's not that he is being approached by the senior. Like Narada Muni is going to Dhruva, Brahma is coming to Prithu, Narada Muni is going to Prachini Barhi. So same way, Prabhupada also went to the US to preach, and we also, with our whatever capacity, try to go wherever possible and preach whatever is possible according to our capacity. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Janardhan Prabhu. Your example and the explanation is also very clear. I have one question, that you told us we can take guidance from superior in our crisis. So that examples you have given is all from Srimad Bhagavatam characters, and we have seen that they are very great personalities. That's why their details are given in Srimad Bhagavatam also. But in our scenario, whenever some crisis comes, so how we have to take guidance from whom? The purpose I am asking is, different devotees are there, or many superiors are there, but we cannot find, there is some kind of lackness due to Kali Yuga and other things. So from whom we have to take guidance? Is there means how to choose the right superior? Because we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam also, sometimes some devotees have not accepted the superiors, like 4 Kumaras, Brahmaji example, Parashuram and Bhishma Dev, Ayati and Kuru. Means Yadu did not accept it. So it is there. So how can we choose that proper superior? Means we should have faith, respect, then we can follow them. So can you explain this?
So I will tell what I will do. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. So there are both examples. So ninth canto also, I think his name starts with Prishrabha. So his spiritual master rejects him, but then he practices bhakti and he goes. So we should understand that we are also practicing devotees, and the person who is guiding is also a practicing devotee. So what is making us take guidance from anyone is that there is a common connection of the Shastras which is there, because of which we are having some faith. The faith is there. Why? Because we are seeing him that he is giving Shastra in a palatable way for us. That is what basically increases the faith, and it makes us approach him for guidance. So when we take guidance, so it is not necessary that the first person whom you meet in bhakti will always be the person who is going to guide you throughout your life. So there is a mundane saying that if a person comes in your life, and it can be either a lesson for life, or it can be a person who can be with you for your life. So as I quoted about the aspect of Dukhalayam in this world, whatever teachings which Krishna wants us to give us, it is not necessary that it will always come through proper guidance. You can see here all are reversals only, which we spoke. Dhruva Maharaj is upset, Indra is upset, Prachini Bari is in some world. So reversals are also part of devotional life. So that reversals can sometimes come also in the form of incorrect guidance from a superior. So we should see the big picture and understand that what we have to learn in this. So when we see Krishna's big picture in every situation of our life, then we will be not having this, first of all, mental agitation as we saw. That if we are either too much lamenting or if we are too much in anger, we will not be able to focus on what is the lesson which we want to learn, which Krishna is giving us. So when we learn that lesson, then with that lesson we will be peaceful. And then we will be also doing the practical thing to see who other person is there whom we can approach. So that is the process of taking guidance as per my understanding. Any other question?
Want to ask any question? Anyone? Okay. Fine. So, my question is that you said about we should not be Dvesh Parampara, but should be Shiksha Parampara. Right? That profound lesson which was given by His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj. Now someone comes to you with complaint like Dhruva. So, what would be the guidance which is done out of Dvesha to that person? And what is the guidance which will increase his faith on the Lord? Can you give an example of that? Through, you said, na, Suruchi, Suniti, right? How Suniti acted. So, how a mentor or counselor will act in a Dvesh Parampara and how he will act in Shiksha Parampara? Can you give an example to clarify the nice principle you said?
Yeah, so when during Prabhupada's times, all devotees were in an ashram setting, whether they are married or not married. So if someone leaves the temple, so there used to be one sabha where people used to come, and then everyone will tell, okay, he did like this, that's why he went, he did like this, that's why he went. So then people are satisfied, okay, you all did something wrong, so that's why he went. So this is like something which should not be done. This is like you are fully creating some kind of perception that that person is useless and that's why he went. And we don't have any role in that. So eventually when Prabhupada found out, the Tamakrishna Maharaj then later emphasizes on this, that when someone leaves, 50% is his fault and 50% is our fault. So that is one thing which I remember now. Practically when we are speaking, if suppose coming with a complaint, so it now he is having a particular difficulty with him. So this does not mean that all the other aspects of the person is wrong. So if we are telling that this person is wrong, you leave him, he doesn't know how to speak, and you tell 2-3 more nice qualities about him, and you tell that, no, you come to me, I will take care of you. Now it is like involuntarily or unconsciously we are telling that today I am telling that this person is wrong and you can come with me. You are involuntarily setting an example that tomorrow if I find something wrong in you, then I can also go to someone else. So in that way, he is not getting any kind of connection. He is just connected and he is thinking that this person is wrong, that person is wrong. And till I don't find any fault in someone, till that time only he is good. Otherwise he is faulty. That will be a negative way of dealing. Positive way of dealing is to isolate the crisis from the person. Like Radhesham Prabhu gives an example when he meets Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Whatever opinion he speaks, he tells that, Radhesham Prabhu, this is you and this is your opinion. So now I am going to shoot your opinion. Like that he deals. So when we objectively deal with the crisis And then the best way will be to guide him in such a way that the crisis is also solved and the faith in the personality involved also increases. That may not happen every time, but that is the best way of doing.
Completed in 30 minutes only, so we have more time for questions. I did my service of asking one question. I can ask many questions, but I want all of you to ask. Haribol. Others also can become kinder like him.
Topics are very nicely presented, but I am unable to understand some things. So here, especially in a crisis, in a personal application, I am asking, what are the things that one is unable to approach superior when a crisis comes? Generally, what you mentioned, that people are coming and seniors are coming and taking care. Many examples, but especially in our scenario, brahmacharis, what are the things that are hindering him or stopping him to take guidance or superior support when the crisis, real crisis come in life? What makes him stop going to take support? Or what we need to take some kind of solutions for us, solutions like that. I'm trying to understand.
Thank you for this question. So this is my reflection on this question. I've also had many times this question, which I did and what I learned from what kind of guidance or giving or taking. So when we are giving devotee care, so the example what usually we present is that a senior is there, he's taking care of everyone and he's sacrificing his time, he's sacrificing his health, and he's taking care of whoever is under him. And the juniors are seeing him extending so much, and we are also appreciating his extension, notwithstanding how he is taking care of himself. So indirectly we are telling that if suppose tomorrow I have to be a good example, I should also take care of others. But indirectly meaning that who will take care of me? Someone else will take care. So, okay, a senior is there, he is taking care of the junior. So this person becomes the senior for another junior. So now his needs will only be taken care by the previous one. Well, this is not told, but this is what happens because that is the example which we are seeing. So because of that, when a person comes in crisis, unfortunately he feels that someone will come and help him. That's how the crisis will be removed. So if in that case, if someone is unable to help him, or someone is not coming on his own and asking him about the crisis, he feels that he is being neglected or he is in the victim mentality. Rather than the devotee care should be in such a way that the person we train, that he is self-sufficient. Self-sufficient means he knows what to do under crisis. Like you give him certain guidelines, and with that guidelines he is seeing whatever is happening in his life and he is able to manage. Beyond that, if he is not able to manage, he has the bandwidth to come and speak to the superior. Rather than the idea that the superior is a person who doesn't have time only. Why? Because in this scenario, we see that the superior is engaged so much. So the junior is feeling afraid whether he can go now or we cannot go now, or what he will tell, what not he will tell. And usually the guidance for anything is that you go deep into sadhana, chant more rounds. All such things create an image that you cannot take shelter when we want. So this is what I felt, at least in my scenario, where when we should show the example, like here also Manu tells Dhruva that you should be example to others. So when we show example how we are taking care of ourselves in the realm of bhakti with proper boundaries and Krishna conscious engagements, that will inspire them to also be in that way. So that are some things which I thought of.
This question only because in the answer you said it from the point of view of the superiors how they should guide. But no, from the point of view of juniors how they should take it. Now whatever the training has happened is happened. अभी नए से कहाँ से करें? That was or means it is understood that if you become superior, then we may train whatever. But
yes, so what has happened means what damage has been done. But at least now this knowledge should be given to them in whatever
How we
way.
should take it up? That is.
Now the junior is in such a scenario and he is unable to approach, so two things will happen: he will never approach, and then he may take a step which is not very favorable for his Krishna consciousness, and then something what is not required will happen in his life, or otherwise, as people who are guiding them, we should take a step further and try to go and personally speak to him and address whatever perceptions he has. In that way, the relationship will then blossom. Because crisis solving will take two people. It is not that now, okay, he is in this scenario, so what he has to do means, if he has to do something, someone else has to also be involved. So, I feel that we should only take the first step. Like here, all the seniors are only coming and giving guidance. So this is what I strongly feel. It may be right or wrong. This is my understanding.
because of that, many
Time. Personally, you can ask.
So Hare Krishna, uh, many times we have seen that juniors, they remain connected to one superior, and when something happens to superior, then they leave Krishna consciousness or something like that. Or so from superior side, how can he create an environment, or what kind of environment can be created wherein the juniors, they feel sheltered in many superiors, and when the times of crisis come, they can approach them. So how to create such environment, or what kind of environment can be created?
So this was very much my case in our voice, where we were only having one superior to which we were connected. So consciously we have to involve more than one person who they get exposure in their beginning days. That is the most holistic way of addressing this problem. But if that is not the case, then right now at least we have to introduce and give them this knowledge and confidence that if suppose I am going to take someone else as his guide, the other person will not, that concept that I should be only with one person, I should not be with other person, that mindset we have to change. These two things we do, then it will be okay, I feel.
Hare Krishna. So next session is what? Invite the comments,
some comments and
help,
feedbacks.
feedback, feed front, whatever. Good things, very difficult to speak. Please go ahead.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you, Janardhan Prabhu. The PPT I like the most, very systematic and very to the point, and very nice lesson you mentioned. Especially, I like the way you answer the question of the devotees. Very reflective and very thought-provoking answers. Thank you very much.
Please tell. Rajat Prabhu?
Anyone else? Rajat Prabhu, especially Rajat Prabhu can tell. Special request for you, personal.
Hare Krishna. So PPT was nicely made, but the purpose of some PPTs, like some catchy points should be there. Like, just can you go further? So this, nobody likes to read such a like big paragraphs on, especially on the stage presentation. So some what you have underlined, no? So that might be only be presented there with reference. So that could be highlighted. Else other things are fine. For elaboration, it was good. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he served you by some way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for doing the thankless task of saying something. So Janardhan Prabhu, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Very thoughtful, very synthesized presentation. I like the way you have synthesized the information in form of, different cases, naming differently, and the referencing which you have done, because everything is from references. And synthesis, when I say, you say, what is that words you are using? Aligned guidance and big picture and all that. So they are very thoughtful and helping. So it's a very good analysis of your topic through the different pastimes of. And you did cover very nicely about most of the aspects, like personal application. Understanding was brilliant through this synthesis, and then you went on to personal application, preaching application, mood mission. So thank you for nice presentation, and some very nice, quite nicely question answers also. Very relevant things you spoke from your remembrance and your life. Some things which I felt, because I have to do that seva, so I'll speak some things which can be. So I felt that actually crisis has to be first defined. Crisis is not a difficulty. Crisis is not a crack, which keeps on happening in consciousness. Crisis is something very serious in life of a person. So as I believe Keshav Prabhu asked that only, isn't it, Prabhu? Is it like that? That what are the situations where we feel difficult to open up? Something like that. So crisis is that which we are difficult, whether I should tell or not. If I tell, what will happen? No, something like that. Crisis is something very, if you see the meaning, dictionary meaning, it's an intense difficulty or danger. Or the turning point of disease where important change will take place. So important change for brahmacharis is many. One of them is graduation. So crisis can be defined initially. Or in personal application, what can be crisis for a brahmachari? So that is a question for you. Now, quickly can you say, or can some of you say, what are the crises for brahmachari? Is the seva change a crisis? Or different?
Crisis.
Health crisis is a big thing, actually. Now, many of you are young. It's a big thing, actually, in brahmachari. Any other, Prabhu? What are the crises for brahmacharis? Different people can have different crises.
Sudden authority change or place change of the seva field.
Place change, seva change, authority change, or authority changed something, which you take shelter of. That's what authority is leaving and all. So that is another. To the degree you take shelter of that, to that degree it is a crisis. Otherwise it's a way of life. Other crisis is you cross Lakshman Rekha of brahmacharya in some way. Thoughts, words, actions. Thoughts and all is Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu. But cross Lakshman Rekha, it's a crisis. But whether that, so we have to understand what is crisis, and I felt that can be explained. Because what happens otherwise, as I think some of you might have read that interaction on WhatsApp group, which Revtipati Prabhu showed, right? So, some of you saw that? Yeah, Prabhu remembers. So, crisis means, that's what he is asking, Keshav Prabhu, that person is not revealing his problem only. The crack is there in the bridge. Then crack is going on, and one day bridge falls and itna bada awaaz aa gaya. Everyone is seeing. So crisis means the crack would have been repaired. Right? Or so that is my humble understanding that crisis is something very intense emotional problem or something is happening. So it would have been good because it would have been things. So it can be defined based on when you felt crisis or you saw someone in crisis, your friend or superior or some boy in crisis. No? So crisis, because Krishna is putting this crisis to take shelter of him, right? So for everyone it can be different, Like some boy in SRM had come to me that time. He is saying he is always topper. One time he came second topper or something. So parents were so much criticizing him that he was crying, So for him that was crisis. Now for other person it's not crisis only. अरे क्या है? तीसरा आ गया problem क्या है? So I am saying that crisis is that which will put you in a great emotional turmoil from different personalities or whatever. So I felt that that can be defined. Second thing is when you said mood and mission, so I felt you would have told how did Prabhupada deal with crisis of his disciples? Because that's the topic, isn't it? So can you say any crisis which Prabhupada dealt with his disciples? Because that's the topic, right? How Prabhupada dealt. Actually, generally you said nicely that Prabhupada went to West and Brahmacharya ashram and all that. Compassion. That is perfect. However, Prabhupada dealing with crisis of his disciple. How did he deal? Any example? Anyone? Yes, Prabhu, take mine.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj, when he had hernia operation, so previously expressed to Prabhupada many times that being a GBC of India is very difficult for him, being a foreigner, doing so much management, and he had a natural taste for preaching and book distribution more. So he was requesting, but Prabhupada didn't had much options at that time, so Prabhupada asked him to stay. So when the situation was very intense, especially when he underwent hernia operation, so he wanted a break. At that time, Prabhupada, although it was very difficult decision for Prabhupada to take, so Prabhupada said, he allowed Tamal Krishna Maharaj to go ahead to America and be with Vishnujan Maharaj and do Radha Damodar Bus Party. So that was one crisis which it was very difficult for Prabhupada, but still he understood him and allowed him.
Same when Prabhupada came in, he saw the dream of Prabhupada being. Is that same thing? In Bombay it happened? Bombay hospital.
Yes. Bombay, yes. Bombay.
There only he saw Prabhupada in dream and all that. Prabhupada personally went to hospital, right?
Yes, Prabhupada.
So same incidents?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Very nice example. Any other example where Prabhupada dealt with crisis? Two quick examples.
Actually, in his life, when the Jhansi story was happening, so he was very much in anxiety and what to do. Prabhupada Jhansi case, the Jhansi case himself I am saying. But he is always in touch with his Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. So his god brother is always, at least twice he came to the center, Jhansi center. He was also involved there. So Prabhupada was taking help of him, asking guidance and seeking guidance whether to continue legal case. Prabhupada also thought of going for legal case to acquire the property, etc., etc. But Bhaktivedanta Maharaj mentioned, okay, you can come back to either Vrindavan or to our society to do certain further activities. So though Prabhupada, he had that crisis of closing down the whole center, but under supporting guidance of superiors, he dealt the situation.
Like some of the disciples, they left their ashrams, sannyas ashram and all. So Prabhupada dealt it with compassionately sometimes. So that was one of the learnings, by understanding what that person is going through. So that was going on in my mind when you were asking that how Prabhupada dealt with the problems of ISKCON or devotees. So there are so many cases like that. And sometimes he was very like thunderbolt also, depending upon case to case.
So yes, so crises will come in, especially leaders. So he dealt with great compassion, actually. With great compassion he dealt. I think that's what I had sent on WhatsApp group. So one sannyasi is sharing about his thought of whom? His wife. Honestly sharing. And Prabhupada, in effortlessly he's sharing, see, yesterday only I had thought. So he may not have also, and he is Mahabhagavad devotee, but he is dealing with it in a very congenial way and compassionate way. So that way. And at the same time, Prabhupada in the purport he is writing, if someone has serious problem, now thinking level is one level. But if he is crossing, then he can continue fight with Maya by changing the, not graduating there, it is continuing fight with Maya, Prabhupada writes, right? So crisis are the way this material world person makes progress actually, and Krishna will put crisis most of the time. But it is different. For other person it may not be crisis only. But that person he undergoes. So it's very important. So I felt that you would have included that. No? How did Prabhupada deal with crisis? Once he went to Hawaii, I think, to meet a devotee who had left the movement. And he was quite, he is completely into material life. But when he came to meet, he said, what was the problem which we did, by which you left us? But he was not, actually he didn't came back. So Prabhupada was quite accommodative and trying to understand other person and so on. And when he left, Shrutakirti Prabhu says that Prabhupada told he is rascal. Imagine, he went to save him there. But still he didn't open up, this devotee whosoever came, he came to meet him, but he didn't tell. But Prabhupada was strong also, but that way I felt that is one thing. And coming to, Prabhupada. So when we say about form and substance, now what would have been the action of Prithu Maharaj? Can you say that, see, Atri Muni told to kill Indra, Prithu didn't say. First who said kill? Atri Muni told the son that you kill Indra. And the son is, I think, Yuvanashva or something. What is his name? Vijitashva. Yeah, Vijitashva was told twice to be, Atri Muni is telling you kill. He didn't knew he is Indra, I think. Atri Muni didn't knew, I think so. I am not sure. But what would have been the action, knowing the form and substance of Prithu Maharaj? Because he is doing yajna for welfare of everyone. And someone is coming and stealing his horse. So what would have been his action? With knowing the form and substance. What would have been the right action?
He may have captured Indra and summoned him in front of Brahmaji. That can be one action. Yeah.
Captured him and kept. Okay, that's very nice. That is only possible. But Indra is very powerful. He would have gone also, but that's okay. We are doing extrapolation to understand. So yes, Prabhu, that is so. And it's Indra's crisis that he is doing this. He is insecure. So what would have been Indra doing in his crisis? उसका खुर्ची जा रहा है. क्राइसिस में है ना, अधर्म चालू कर दिया उसने. अधर्म का परंपरा चालू किया. So what would have been Indra's right way of dealing with the crisis which he has? He has a post and position, and he is feeling that he will take it. It's a crisis. For him it is crisis, right? That's why he is doing adharma. 2-3 times he is doing. So what would have been the right course of action for him in his crisis?
The post was given to him by Brahmaji. So then if post is getting disturbed, then first he has to go ask him whether that is the scenario. If that is not the scenario, then he should be satisfied. But that doesn't happen here. Yeah.
That Prabhu, मेरा post जा रहा है, कुछ करो. Correct? But he took the action. He didn't. He did opposite way, and multiple times he did. So that way we can bring out. And regarding Mitra, Bandhu, Surut, actually these definitions are there in Shastra. So actually Surut, I wanted to refer that. Surut is a person who does your welfare without wanting it. That is Surut. Because Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. That is Guru or true Vaishnava, without you asking, he does your welfare. That is Surut. So you defined in a practical, relevant way of current times. Actually that is to some extent relevant, but these words are more deeper than that. Like for example, Bandhu. So Adhama Janara Bandhu we call whom? Spiritual master. So spiritual Bandhu is an official blood relation. Blood relation or official relation, you understand? Official means you are a batchmate. It's like Bandhu. You may not, so that is Bandhu. Our Guru has accepted us. Although, so Adhama Janara Bandhu. Right? So Bandhu is an official relationship. So Krishna feels like that for everyone. Like Dina Bandhu. So Bandhu is that. Surud is highest. And what is Mitra? Mitra is one whom you share your joy and sorrow. So these are definitions given by Parampaja Haldar Swami Maharaj in his class. So these are from Shastra. So utility and what is that you said? Acquaintance, utility, all that is still lower than that actually, which is happening in the world. I understand that, but it is more than that. Because we have to, like a Vaishnava is Surut, Vaishnava is Sakha, Vaishnava is friend of everyone, right? So that way I feel it's very important. And these words are used by Sudama to Krishna in one verse. So there I think some definitions are given. I wanted to locate that. And Prabhu asked a question about this, that in crisis. So crisis is there, but we are wondering whom to reveal. Based on that, choose. So my understanding of this is that whom we feel our well-wisher. Because that is very rare in our well-wisher to find, especially in Brahmacharya ashram, to find a well-wisher, a genuine well-wisher is a great fortune, and every one of us have that. So we should go to that. Whether he is at post or position doesn't matter. What matters is the intensity of relationship. Because Krishna is involved in all that. Krishna works with principles, not hierarchy. Right? Loving relationships. So crisis means what that song says, no? What is that song? Kabeshi Chaitanya More Kori Bena Daya. That song you see, third or fourth line is what? Kandiya Kandiya Janai Bhavishagram Samsara Anala Hoite Magibe Vishram. Then Vaishnavera Avedane Ittadi. So we have to go to authority, Vaishnava authority, whom we feel that he is our well-wisher. So maybe there are some, like as you said, apprehensions may be there, whether to go or not. So in that you choose, okay, he is my well-wisher, let me go and do it, instead of keeping with you. Because that's what is the challenge in problem, that we don't reveal the problem at right time. So problem increases, and then as Radheshampu uses the term, very, very heavy term, that is passing stool in pant. No, he says. So when something has come up, you say, afterwards what will happen? Everywhere smell is coming, that kind of thing. So best is be honest and be open, and here are the people who have given their lives for Krishna. So although everyone has some challenges, but we can pray to Krishna and reveal to some Vaishnava, which is one considers him to be well-wisher. It can be hierarchically, managerially, officially, whether he is there or not doesn't matter. So that is some thought too. That's it. So thank you. One more thing, which is the last, I am taking more time, but since he mentioned about Parampaja Haldar Maharaj, so which was very inspiring for me. when I heard. So he said that one verse of Suniti, that never harbor any malice about anyone else. So he said that this verse should be kept as in the neck by every counselor, every guide, every mentor. He uses that. So that is what, that if someone comes to you, so first thing that we should not criticize that person. Right? He's wrong only. He will speak like this. And so that is not the way to deal with it. So that is Dvesh Parampara. Now, did Suniti criticize Suruchi in any word? Is there any wrong in Suruchi? Yes. Did Suniti criticize Suruchi in any way? No. Rather, what she said, what was right said by Suniti was caught. And faith was increased on that. This is Shiksha Guru. This is guide. This is mentor. So this was very deep, very profound, and that increases faith of people. So that is not Dvesh Parampara. Otherwise it's very common that someone hears something from someone or take guidance and then he comes to you for problem solving, then we add some more faults of that person. So many people also has problem with that and so on. So that is not the way to deal with it actually. We have to see some good side, increase faith, and who doesn't have problem in this world? Everyone has. So he made that point, and which was very touching. So I am just trying to elaborate and repeat that point, because that is the envy actually. Envy is that, and it is very. So he made the point that actually Pathapradarshak Guru was Suruchi, Shiksha Guru was Suniti, and Diksha Guru was Narada. So that they are the ideal. So Pathapradarshak Guru can be very neophyte person who criticizes, who has attachment, right? But Suniti is non-envious. Suniti is very exalted person, and Suniti we don't glorify so much. So today we are glorifying. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So next, now we will have Gayatri break, and then we have next Vishwakirti Prabhu.
Om Jnananjana Chakshurum Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Seeking blessings of all the Vaishnavas present over here. So my topic is dangers of Vaishnava Parad, like the lessons from the mistakes committed by characters from Srimad Bhagavatams. So actually question may be ki Bhagavatam is dharma projita kaitavatra parama nirmastaranam satam. So why there are some pastimes in Bhagavatam which are like negative, like before this Dhruva Maharaj's pastime there is discussion of the descendant of Adharma. So there are two types of pastime to answer this. One, because Bhagavatam teaches us what to do and what not to do. So there are some pastime which tells about what to do. Like in Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, there are two things we can learn. And from Dhruva Maharaj we learn ki how one should be determined and like devotion, like Prahlad Maharaj also, like positive pastimes. So from that we can learn what to do in our spiritual life. So we can advance very quickly. And there are some pastime which are from which we can learn ki what we should not do. So today we are going to see this ki what we should not do, what we should learn from their mistake. We should not repeat that mistake what they have done in their life. So 4 pastimes it was given to me. So this is Like first we will see little bit introduction, what is Vaishnava Aparadh, then there are 4 case studies from Srimad Bhagavatam. Like Indra offending his spiritual master Brihaspati, and like 2 presentation was over on this Suruchi offending Dhruva Maharaj. So we'll quickly go through that, and Daksha offending Lord Shiva, that great sacrifice. And the last one is the King Vena offending the Brahmanas. And last we will see the summary of this. So why it is very, very relevant to, this topic is relevant to us? Because devotional service is science. Like, so in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Vaishnava Aparadh Hati Mata Upadeva Chinde Tara Sukhiya Pata. Ki offenses to Vaishnava are like a mad elephant that uproots the creeper of devotion. So we say Brahmanda Brahmide Kona Bhagavana Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Vich. So we get the beach, we sow it, and by hearing and chanting we grow it. But the danger is Vaishnava Aparadh. So even though one may be at very high position, he will be good sadhaka, but if he does this mistake, then his spiritual life get ruined. Whoever he may be. Like there are many pastimes. Like here we see the case of our Durvasa Maharaj, Durvasa Muni offending Amrish Maharaj, and Sobari Muni we see how much austere he was doing austerity inside the water. But still, just by offending Garudji, he fell down by seeing the mating of 2 fishes, which even the karmis does not fall by seeing that. So that is key. Like I have mentioned that even if we do the chanting, worship, preaching, but if one offend, like His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj were asked that what is the secret of your consistently rendering service without any like you are going on and on increasing services. So Maharaj told that key 2 things, that you should chant attentively and don't commit Vaishnava Aparadh. So these 2 things Maharaj said. So actually this is the secret. And because Krishna, like that Bhagavatam verse come, Aham Bhakta Paradhina, in that verse Krishna is telling I am completely under the control of my devotee. And if we commit the offenses to the devotee himself, then we are directly offending the Supreme Lord. And the Lord does not tolerate that. So he takes away the test or bliss, or we can say higher test from the life of that person, devotee, so to teach him lesson. So that's how it is very, very important. One should be very careful. So we will try to see in that now some pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is very famous pastime, like Indra. So this is actually it is coming in a 4th canto, 6th canto, 7th chapter. This pastimes come. So in the scenario is like there was a description of the heavenly like palace where he was sitting, Indra, and so much opulence he has in that assembly. Like he was having white umbrella, and like so many were playing music, glorifying him. Many Maharshis were there, demigods were there sitting. And because of that, when that his spiritual master enters in the assembly, actually he saw him, but he thought he does not do anything to pay the spiritual master respect. And the spiritual master Brihaspati was he saw and he understood कि now the pride has went to his head. So he just left. So that is in short what was that pastime. So that is that verse come, like one verse I have selected. Tato nirgatya sahasa kavir angarishya prabhu ayayo swagriham tushmim vidvana shrimada vikriyam. Shrimada, because mada means he become mad because of the opulence. He has got buffed up with his material opulence. So let So out of mercy, compassion on him, he wanted to teach him a lesson. So he just left the assembly. So sometimes, like one line answer lesson we can learn, even passive neglect or casual behavior is dangerous. So some personal and preaching application from the purpose of Srila Prabhupada we can understand is even passive neglect or casual behavior towards Guru is offense. So sometimes we think offense means direct criticism or hurting people, but sometimes like that negligence, complacency, taking the superiors lightly, or we say familiarity, that is also very great offense. So generally we see when we were new in ashram, so we have a lot of respect for each other. I am telling about myself. So when I came to ashram, lot of everybody and everyone was very we see I have come to spiritual world itself, and but gradually every day obeisances and I used to offer, but later on gradually कि ठीक है ना अभी मतलब वांछा कल्प तुरु होने के बाद फिर दिन में ऑफर करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Like that familiarity is nature of familiarity sometimes breed contempt. So that one should be very careful about. So especially and initially when counselor we see very we give a lot of respect to the counselor whenever we are new, but when we become senior we take to saffron also. Counselor is having saffron, then we think कि अभी प्रभु जी और हम सेम ही तो है क्या है कि नहीं. I can so like that, then the disobedience and complacency, neglect comes. So Prabhuji is taking our council meeting, but now that Ruchi is not there, that it was before. Now I can hear many things like that. So the next thing is when Guru is, one should know that this is the another secret of even Vishwanath Chakra Thakur write in the 2.41 that verse, Vyavasayatmika buddhi eke hai kurunana, the secret in spiritual life is to please the spiritual master. So one should learn that when Guru is displeased, the spiritual and material protection will be withdrawn. Like in the case of Indra here. See how much opulent they were. We cannot imagine their wealth, their palaces in which they live. And within a moment, everything is taken away from them. There were no place to live. They become a beggar just by one neglect of that top person. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj I was hearing. So Maharaj was telling ki same way the soul, actually he is by nature very opulent. He has permanent place to live, permanent happiness he has, eternal happiness he has. He has permanent knowledge, everything he has permanent. But when he has neglected the Supreme Lord, he is now becoming a cat and dog in this material world and searching for food. So that's how. So one should understand how dangerous it is to displease the spiritual master. So lesson we can learn sometimes some symptoms are there if we feel weak, directionless in spiritual life, one should ask this am I following my superior authorities, Guru properly or not? If not, then we should try to follow. So Prabhupada writes in that 13th verse that civilization in which people do not know how the representative of the Lord should be respected is animal society, and they can never be happy. So Prabhupada was especially mentioning in that Mood and Mission we can see that long ago Indra was regretted. His next, actually when the Brihaspati left, then Indra become very repentant. So Prabhupada was connecting in that 12th verse is long ago Indra committed the mistake because of regretted his disrespect to his spiritual master. Similarly, it is advised that in American people regret their mistaken advancement in civilization. So they should do this. They were advancing materially, but what is the outcome? They are not able to manage. Criminalism, the crime is increasing, people are dissatisfied. So they should understand and they should give respect to the spiritual master. They should take advice from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna. If they do so, they will be happy and there will be an ideal nation to lead the entire world. So Prabhupada is telling. And Prabhupada is telling now there are many fortunate young men, they are taking to this process very seriously. And this is creating ideal first class society. So that is another lesson. And before that, one more lesson we can learn from this pastime is everyone, especially the leader, should be very careful and responsible. When we become seniors in age or in position, so it is very, very important. One should be very careful in dealing in everything, actions, and responsible also. Because if like one Indra committed the mistake, but all demigods become bigger. So similarly, if we are growing in the seniority, if naturally become inspiration for many. If we commit mistake, then lot of people lose faith. So it is very great responsibility to protect the faith of others. So it is very, very important. So in short, we can see from this pastime is ki one should not disrespect or neglect the spiritual master, and one should try to please him if you want to become successful. So that is in short about from this pastime we can learn about some lessons. And the next pastime is lessons from Suruchi offending Dhruva Maharaj. So the pastimes in the last two presentation was covered what the pastime is. So actually when she was speaking, actually this very graphically like Sukdev Goswami is presenting ki actually when Uttanapad, actually he is, for him Dhruva and Uttama was same, for he is not partial, and he has desired to lift that Dhruva also on his lap. But when he saw Suruchi, then he stopped himself to take Dhruva Maharaj, and she understand. Suruchi understand ki अरे तो अभी नहीं उठा रहा, means he is now become my servant. So he spoke in the tone which is like as loud as he can hear. So actually that it is mentioned in this word ki tatha, like the word is Shunvato Raja, Suruchi Shunvato Raja Saryam ahati garvita, with pride and with loud tone which the king can hear. Ki suno. Like, and Prabhupada spoke in that verse, the nature of woman. When she understands ki husband is become henchpet, then that she take the advantage. Prabhupada writes in the purport. So one line answer lesson we can learn ki favoritism and envy breed to offense. So and lessons we can learn from this is ki Suruchi was intoxicated by the king's favor. Actually, she understands ki now the king is he likes me, so now he will not disobey me. So whatever I will do, he will not reject. So from which we can learn the lesson ki one should not misuse the post or position what we are getting. So like his grace Gaurang Darshan was telling, like sometimes when we go to like Pujari example he was giving. Sometimes Pujari think himself as a deity. So they think so great and undue advantage we should not take. Like sometimes we become close to a superior, like Guru. We become superior, very close to him, then we become obstacle between the people and the Guru sometimes. That is called misusing the post or position. So one should, like one is getting some favor, one is getting some position, one should not misuse it, but one should serve in that position. And another lesson is king does not correct Suruchi. This is is a fault on the side of king Uttanapad. He has to take action. Sometimes in like we see in the case of Dhritarashtra also, because he was attached to Duryodhana. So although Vidura is giving advice, Krishna is giving advice, many people, Bhishma is giving advice, but he was attached to Duryodhana. Because of that he become weak-hearted. So favoritism destroys discrimination and make one weak-hearted. So that is like especially in terms of we see like consular counsel, sometimes it happens ki my counsel means even though he may not have good qualities, and if other have good qualities, we sometimes because of favoritism we give preference, so that should not be the ideal one. Another lesson from Suniti is that our Prabhuji, Janardhan Prabhu also mentioned ki how Suniti took that the action of what Suniti performed. So Suniti's reaction is very ideal. It is for us how to take offense. She did not curse Suruchi back. Instead, she redirected Dhruva to the Supreme Lord. So this is lesson should be ki devotee respond to offense by increasing surrenders, not retaliation all the times. Always. It is not ki always one. It depends time, place, circumstance, and our capacity also to tolerate how much we can tolerate. So always retaliation is not the right course of action. So this is also we can learn from the response of Suniti. And in purport of 17th verse of this 8th chapter, Prabhupada writes, this is very nicely told by this Janardhan also this point, ki don't wish inauspiciousness for others. Anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself then that same pain. Like Radhesham Prabhu give example of like coal in the hand. Like envy he gave. If you desire something bad for others, it's like carrying hot coal in the hand. So it burns you also. So this is some personal application. Preaching application ke devotees who are in leadership position must guard against the bias, to be biased or partial. This leads to injustice and offense. So we discussed that. And in 20th verse, Prabhupada writes ki on what basis what the success depends. If any action and any like service to be successful in any attempt, one not only has to undergo severe penances and austerities. Sometimes we think ki our skills, our tapasya, our sadhana is everything, but no, it is not that all the time. There must be dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So like that ki, so like before this, in that purpose only Prabhupada writes ki unless one is favored by the Supreme Lord, there is no success like that. So success that ultimately is given by the Supreme Lord only. So our actions are like for getting mercy of the Supreme Lord. When He is merciful, then that will be a complete success. So what is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada? So decision based on how the one should make the decision. It should not be on personal liking. It should be on what character the person have, what is the sadhana service contribution. So it should be on that, not on personal liking or this is my person, this is my God brother. So Prabhupada writes in the 22nd verse, as soon as one places the Supreme Personality of Godhead within one's heart, everything becomes easy and successful. Like we may say ki for Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni gave such a very difficult process to perform austerities. So Prabhupada writes ki by the process of bhakti yoga, even child less than 5 years old or anyone of any age can be purified. And this faith and this mood Srila Prabhupada has. Like his age was 70, more than, like he went at age of 69. He was completely, has no money, he was helpless, no friends, no support from here also, there also. But he has that faith that if I carry Supreme Personality of Godhead in my heart, then everything becomes easy and successful. And it was happened. So these are some lessons from this. In short, we can see keep favoritism. This very, very important lesson from this we can understand. And success depend on the favor of the Supreme Lord. And the next incidents we see Daksha Prajapati offending Lord Shiva. This is also very graphic and very Like many lessons we can learn from this pastimes. Actually, there was one big sacrifice which were done by the leaders of this creation, like Vasishtha, Angira, and Daksha Maharaj. So there was a great sacrifice, and many great people of this world was invited. Even Lord Shiva was there, Lord Brahma was there, all the sages, demigods were there. And when the entry was like Daksha Maharaj, when he comes, all they stood up to give respect to Daksha Maharaj, and two personality was not standing. In that, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma was there. But Lord Brahma was his father, so he has no problem. But when he saw that Lord Shiva is not getting up, actually he has before only negativity. He was envious of Lord Shiva. So sometimes, like, even though small mistake is there in a person, but if we have negative feeling for him, then we become more agitated. So he was searching for some problem with him and trying to offend. And he does like mole into mountain, like small mistake and big. Like we will see now how the words, especially when he begins. So negativity always have background. So the word he used, it is very dangerous. It is, and before that he was telling I am not speaking out of ignorance or envy. Prabhupada writes he knows that he was speaking because despite of his knowledge actually Lord Shiva is not offender, because his position he knows. But still, to make cover this, he is telling I am not speaking out of ignorance or envy. So Prabhupada writes when people become very envious, they forget their own envy. So in that envy, he spoke very harshly, like he is shameless, proud, accepted my daughter, and then and thus accepted me as a superior. That was the reason he gave. Because you are my son-in-law, that's why you are my inferior. So you should respect me. And later, like many wrong, like Markatalochan, monkey-eyed, like that. So many bad words he used in the assembly in front of everyone. But we see Lord Shiva does not speak anything. That is another extent. So he become agitated by small thing, and Lord Shiva is not agitated at all, although he is getting so much bad words from him. And he becomes so intoxicated with that anger that in that he offended Brahma also. That we will see. So some lessons so Daksha criticizes Lord Shiva out of envy and pride. Actually, when envy enters, intelligence leaves. Bhagavad Gita also says, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhrama, smriti nashat buddhi nashat pranashati. So intelligence leaves. Then discrimination is lost. What he is doing, with where he is doing, everything forget. And he just speak like that. And Prabhupada writes, in anger one forget everything. Thus Daksha, in anger, not only accused great Lord Shiva, but criticized his own father. Because of him only I give my daughter to Lord Shiva. Although he is unclean, he lives with ghost and he lives in crematorium, he does not take bath, actually he was very bodily conscious. Mar was telling actually a person in bodily conscious always identify what I like, everybody should like that. So he was thinking I am wearing nice clothes, so you should also wear. Like bodily consciousness, I am doing this, so you should also do that. So like Bhagavad Gita also says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami tasyam jagrati bhutani ya nisha pashyato mune ki like for person, like devotees, sadhana is good, but for non-devotees, they think it is boring. They sleep in for any spiritual program. But for them, sense gratification is very fun loving. For devotees, it is not fun. So depending upon the consciousness of the person, he try to impose that same thing on others also. Like that, why he disliked the idea of Brahma? Because of that only. I am, see my status, see I am so great. and he does not have house. He is staying crematorium and like that. He was thinking because of that he does not like the idea of the suggestion given by Brahma to give her daughter in marriage to Lord Shiva. So Prabhupada, that's why very important he says, one who desires to make tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness must avoid these three things: lust, anger and mode of passion. So actually all great sages were sitting, and he criticized and they said ki there will be no share in the sacrifice for Lord Shiva, and then he left. Brahma ji bole ruk ja, सुन ही नहीं रहे वो. He was thinking कि he was just left in anger, so he was not ready to listen also. Probably time कितना हो? Okay. So preaching ki one should so Prabhupada tells about the mission ki actually see Lord Shiva is in the 14th and 15th verse. Prabhupada says, Lord Shiva is so kind that he gives shelter to the creature who are unclean and mode of ignorance, who are very difficult to raise. In that purport, same by the association of such a great personality, even the fallen souls can also be elevated. We see in the life of Srila Prabhupada also. He gave his association to hippies and they raised to the highest platform. So Prabhupada says ki repeatedly condemn bodily consciousness. We see in the life of Srila Prabhupada ki always Indian, America, I am not Indian, I am not here. Like bodily consciousness, Prabhupada always condemn. So one should avoid judging devotees by externals. Bodily consciousness ki caste, nationality, bodily inability, skills, one should not judge. So that is we can understand. And last, this is King Vena offending Lord the Brahmanas. So this is very, very important. Others we see in the three pastimes, only one mistake they have done, or like in case of Daksha, he later on did. But he, our Vena Maharaj, he was doing continuous, repeated mistakes. So we can learn that when offense is repeated and justified, repentance becomes impossible. Person become hard-hearted, stone-hearted. So we know the pastime of Lord this Vena Maharaj ki when Anga Maharaj left, there was no king, and there were no king. So all the sages, there was crime increases, there were robbers. So they decided to have a king, but they know the Vena is not good king. Still, emergency they put, but he was so harsh and very irreligious. What did he accused the Brahmanical culture only, and he become very proud. He become so like very proud, and he said, "I am God. I am Naradev. So you should give me respect. You should be chaste. I am God. You should worship me." Like that, and he offended the Brahmanas, and later on we know that Brahmanas, by the power of their mantra, they killed. So what lesson we can learn from this? Ki Vena did not make single mistake. He consistently mocked and threatened and rejected the Brahmanas. So we discussed this. Ki when offense is repeated, justified, and repentance become impossible. Generally, when we commit any mistake, we should repent to purify. And it repeated offenses harden the heart. It become a second nature. We see the example of Ramachandra Puri. Because of repeated offenses, his nature become kisko bhi dekho offense. Even a great, he eager to find faults. He become eager to find faults. So one should be very careful. Preaching application, preventing other from serving Lord is a direct offense to the Lord. So Prabhupada, because Vena Maharaj is stopping Brahmanical culture, so he is offending Supreme Lord because he is preventing people from worshipping the Supreme Lord. So leaders, especially Prabhupada, is appealing to the government officials that one should facilitate, not to obstruct the devotional service of people. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that the world situation is so tense that any moment government may issue declaration to stop religious rituals. क्या करेंगे? इसलिए बोले कि जल्दी भक्ति करके back to Godhead. So practice Krishna consciousness seriously and go back to Godhead. Like that. And Prabhupada mood and mission. Actually devotees and saintly person are always anxious to see. When there was no proper king, all the sages they came together and discuss about the problem. So crime is increasing. So devotees is not ki saintly person should devotees are not ki they do only bhajan, but they think about other also. So saintly people preach God consciousness because they are anxious to save general population from danger of the animalistic life. There must be good government to see that citizens are actually executing their religious rituals, and thieves and rogues must be curbed. So this is the ideal government, and the saintly person try to have such a king. So what we should do? So Prabhupada said, so sometimes in that purpose only Prabhupada begins ki sometimes the saintly person have to come down to the political field and take steps to correct the misguided government. But in that same purpose Prabhupada writes, but the sages of this age, Kali Yuga, are not so powerful as the sages before that time. So they cannot, so instead of directly entering into the politics, one should chant Hare Krishna, and by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the problems will be solved. So Prabhupada is telling that one does not have to directly involve in the politics. So, and the last lesson is when a killing looks harsh, but it is but it saved the million from irreligion. And sometimes strong discipline and sharpers are required, but that should be done out of compassion. So they were angry, but that is out of compassion on Vena. So summary, we should keep 8 lessons from 4 pastime. One should be very careful not to neglect and have casual basic behavior toward the superior. Everyone, especially the leader, should be very careful and responsible, because when leader do the mistake, then follower suffers. One should not misuse the post and position, and favoritism destroy the discrimination. In case of Suruchi we saw. Seniority leadership can be dangerous if humility is lost. In the case of Daksha Maharaj, judging devotees by external behavior is major cause of offenses. Lord Shiva got offended by Daksha Maharaj. Repeated offense harden the heart. From the Vena we can understand. And leader must be facilitate, not obstruct devotional service. Ideal king. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So any questions?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your presentation. Just one thing I had in this. Sometimes in our interactions, this is coming to very practical close of this key. In our interactions when we are dealing with others, sometimes we express ourselves fully, and that becomes cause of offense or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then we ask forgiveness also. But as I remember, once Prabhuji only took our sessions and he told that line is there in Bhagavatam, some trace of offenses. So I just wanted some clarification on that. That devotee may forgive also, and we have asked forgiveness also. So what is our future? You understood the question?
First part I understood, but later
I am asking.
You were telling me that sometimes in dealing with devotees, especially equals.
Anybody.
Okay. So we express ourselves very fully.
And that becomes offensive. He feels कि अरे ऐसा कैसा बोल दिया, kind of like that. And then it becomes kind of offensive speech. And he may consider it as offense also. But later he may forgive also. But that trace of offense, which that line is there. Because he remembers always whenever he sees us, that particular moment, and we also remember, and we andar डरे हुए रहते because of when we do offenses, we know all these points. So just wanted to know what is the future or what precautions now henceforth again also. So for whatever has happened for that thing also I am asking.
First thing,
one thing to add, and sometimes once I had asked somebody, said you have asked forgiveness, na? That is sufficient. That also somebody told me like that.
So from this pastime only we can understand that although later on Daksha Maharaj he asked forgiveness from Lord Shiva, but because he understood the position of Lord Shiva. But later on he did the same mistake by offending our Narad Muni in the 6th Manvandara. So Prabhupada, I heard actually because his asking forgiveness was not so he was not from heart, he was not asking. Only officially he was asked. So there tinge of that offense was remaining. That's why he offended again. So, so that actions, intentions are more important than actions sometimes. So intention is very important. And one more thing to add this key, instead of just asking forgiveness, one should serve and try to please that Vaishnava. So it may not only cover that, but in the mood of really intention should be proper at least. So if we try to do that, then he may forgive also and forget also. Like that some point.
There are some online devotees also, they want to ask something, they can raise their hand and Madhavacharan Prabhu will help them. They can directly ask also if they have. Here devotees need encouragement from others to inquire, other devotees. Humble to ask questions to their friends.
In case of Indra, actually, Indra quickly realized that he committed an offense to Brihaspati, but Brihaspati was not giving him a chance to accept. Or sometimes some situations come where first thing is we may not come to know only that we did an offense, and sometimes we might have committed an offense, but if another person doesn't give a chance or is not ready to forgive, so in that situation how to deal with this?
Yes, so actually here there are different way to teach. Like in that section when it was we learned that time why Brihaspati not give a chance to him, although he was repentant, he was quickly repentant, become repentant. So I heard that there are different ways to teach lessons. If Brihaspati not left that assembly and he just enter, and then Indra think okay, it is natural, normal now, and again he may have committed bigger offense. So, and what was the second part? How you saw?
The person is not forgiving. So
Achha,
in that case, how to?
Like when we offend someone and he is not forgiving. So the same, I can tell one should try to please him, serve him. Because
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, आपका टॉपिक था डेंजर ऑफ वैष्णव अपराध, तो आप इस वैष्णव अपराध से कैसे बचे इसके बारे में कुछ बता सकते हैं? आपने बताया सरेंडर और वो, क्योंकि होता क्या है कि अगर हमने चैतन्य चरितामृत में पास्ट टाइम सुना है कि रूप गोस्वामी राधा कृष्ण के ऊपर मेडिटेट करते हैं पास्ट टाइम पे, और एक वो अपाहिज आदमी जाता है, वो देखता है और वो अपराध कंसिडर कर लेता है, और बाद में सनातन गोस्वामी बताते हैं कि आप सबको भोजन करिए तो आपका वैष्णव अपराध है। लेकिन आज के समय पे, वो 100 साल के पहले की बात है, अगर आज का समय देखा तो बहुत सारे लोग आएंगे भी, अगर पैसा कुछ अपराध होता है तो आएंगे भी, प्रसाद भी खाएंगे, लेकिन वो रखेंगे अपराध। तो आप प्रैक्टिकल वे से और कुछ बता सकते हैं क्या, कैसे हम इस वैष्णव अपराध से बचे नहीं तो उसको कैसे करेक्ट करें?
एक्चुअली वो बड़े लोगों के साथ ऐसा होता है, मतलब अभी हम हर स्टेप पे अभी जैसे मतलब माइंड में जो मेंटल जो पाप है कलयुग में उतना ये नहीं है, बट टू शो द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ डेंजर्स समटाइम्स दैट पास्ट टाइम्स आर देयर. सो you rightly said ki what are the remedies and what are the right actions to be taken, that I told ki one should understand first ki he has committed the offense, he should repent genuinely ki that I have committed a mistake, and then he tried to serve and please that Vaishnava who has, like in case of Amrish Maharaj, we know that Krishna, like Lord Vishnu sent, yes, you go to Amrish Maharaj, then only there is chance to be saved. So the solution of Vaishnava Aparadha, as I heard, ki only if that person forgives you, then only it is nullified. Otherwise, there is no other way. So one should try to serve and please the Vaishnava genuinely. That is the remedy.
Very bold. So comments, and what are feedback? Everything. Quickly, one devotee at least.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vishwakirti Prabhu, for nicely sharing these four major offenses which we see. I had just one question that.
Comment.
If you genuinely want, go ahead. Or
comment, okay.
Otherwise.
So nicely drew the lessons of like a lot of personal application over here, definitely. And because the topic is for devotees like all of us, and preaching as such, we can tell to new peoples, like we can warn them regarding Vaishnava Aparadha, but generally what happens, new people, they may not like it is very much relevant for the people, devotees who are living with in the ashram, and day to day we interact. So that's where like more probability of offending is there. And drawing Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission from here, I had little difficulty in understanding that from that the third topic which one you took now, that was
actually
no, not the Vena one, the this was in
this one.
This one.
Actually, the PPT I have made in little rush because just morning only Prabhuji told me we should have like this. So Prabhuji, what is so may not be falling under the specific like mood and mission. So it was my mistake.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So Vishwakirti Prabhu, thank you very much for your selecting the topic which is very, very important and relevant for every one of us. And you did cover nicely many aspects of pastimes, and very unique presentation where for each of the pastime there was everything, preaching application, personal application. Very interesting way of putting. And you gave proper personal applications also in many of the items. Some statements were very powerful like this, favoritism and envy. And other one what I appreciated was that when envy enters, intelligence is lost, and such statements, especially Prabhupada's statements also. At 7.13, what is that Prabhupada? Learning to respect representative of Krishna. That is 7.13 of 5. Bhagavatam only, na?
Bhagavatam only, purport.
7:30, so such statements were there. Wonderful. Before this, just before this slide. This is 7.13 you have written. That is 6.7.13. So actually
7 chapter 13.
So very deep statement actually, that a civilization which knows how to respect a representative of Krishna is a really proper civilization and happy. So such very nice statements you have brought. So thank you for all that collection and last moment putting things together because of request, but it was very nice highlights. Some things which can be more nicer, it would have been more nice was that we define first actually when aparadha happens. Because as many times question comes that aparadha is there, like Rupa Goswami is in meditation, he is not doing aparadha. So there is no aparadha actually, but it is taken aparadha. So that is a different issue altogether. What is discussion here is a conscious endeavor. So what is that definition would have been best when aparadha happens. So, and you did make statement that intention is more important than action. So what is that intention of, so essence of aparadha is envy. If there is some negativity about someone and we act on that negativity, that is offense. So that clear-cut understanding of when it happens, how it happens. Like Subal Priya Prabhu also asking questions. Sometimes we express something. So that might not have out of some negativity or like that. Right? But sometimes it can be taken by other person. So it has repercussion, surely. He has to give feast, right? So something has to be done, but that is not so serious. I asked Param Pujya Bhanumar, same question, that is so dangerous. He just made a statement that actually that's why we should quickly, material world is very risky, we should go back to Godhead quickly. Started laughing. That's it. And he said that reaction will be very less because it's not conscious. Like that. So unknowingly committed offenses are having less reactions, although they are taken as offenses. So I felt that when aparadha happens is a very foundational of this topic.
Yes.
Right? So that can be thought of. And one thing, the lesson which you multiple times explained, I had a question there. Actually, you did make, I think 2-3 times you made statement, which is very important, that there should not be biasing and partiality in our decision making and engaging and dealing, right? Like you
Based
said,
on
our counseling, I like, based on that, then character and sadhana and like that you said. So it appears that, but that is a very easy way out to work also in this institution and world, that we choose someone whom we can work with or whatever, to serve Krishna only. So how, and sometimes it is seen that some partiality, when we see partiality, it's very painful actually. So someone whom you like commits mistake, he is fully covered that yes. But someone who don't like commits small mistake becomes a big mistake. So it is seen and it is not very easy to not act like that. Means that is my humble understanding, because it's natural way of people's action. So how do we go out of that? No? That we don't be partial actually in our services, our responsibilities, our choosing, our resources giving, etc.
Like Prabhuji, you first part, like if partialities, of course it is natural, like you said. So giving
natural in this world.
Yes.
It's not a Siddhanta. Siddhanta is what you said only. That there should not be. But it appears that it is there or it is natural. So how do we not do that?
So how do we not do that? So first thing I like some thoughts coming, like one should see the superior connection. Like generally we become partial because we see the small view, me and my people under me. But when we go upper, no, there is spiritual master. Then if you go a little higher, then there is Srila Prabhupada, then Acharyas, then Krishna. If that broader sense come, then we see that it is now our, like this is not only me, but it is ours. So this is one thought Prabhuji. And we see in case of, no example is not coming, but if you see when we become very small, in small word, then we see and more partiality is there. But when we see the broader view, then it will be this can one bigger picture.
We will reduce our partiality.
This is one
wonderful thought. Thank you. So some things which can
and one should see in the Shastras also, probably, when we see such examples like Dhritarashtra getting attached to his son. Yes. Although he is not qualified, but he is giving and becoming envious of the Pandavas. So from that there are examples so we can try to learn. And if it is, and another thing is one should take the guidance from the people who are rightly situated, so that we can understand ki am I doing right or wrong. So sometimes when we feel I'm entering into like partiality I'm doing, then if it is, when we are sensing it, then we should ask ki, is it okay, is it right, how much it is like there is partiality is okay, but how much it is partiality is okay, then that is under guidance. If it is done, then
The consult, basically.
consult.
Discuss with
Yes.
superiors who are broader. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Because it's really painful. Even Hiranyakashipu was saying actually. Lord was impartial earlier. Now he has become partial. So he has lost the power. So I will attack him. So partiality, visibility reduces lot of trust of the subordinates actually.
Yes.
So that's the thing. And thank you. So coming to the questions, actually you said about Daksha leaving the assembly. And did he say that time that, you should not give the share to Shiva? Did he say that?
Actually, like when he cursed, after that curses, like when you use that wrong words, towards the end he said ki, there is...
Yeah, correct. So after...
In that purport, Prabhupada says ki, that curse become blessing for Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is not coming for getting the shares, he is coming because of obligations.
Yeah, that's what... That is
Prabhupada gave that example of our Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj also. He used to go in toilets to stand. Lord Shiva does not like to come to such assembly in materialistic.
He officially goes there. He doesn't like to go there actually. So yes, he does do that. So Daksha was not aware about. He left the assembly because he was thinking that everyone here else is irreligious. I am the only person who knows this Shishtachar. He was unaware of his inappropriate behavior completely. Can you imagine? You said that Brahmaji tried to stop him. Sages told her stop. Means what? What you spoke is not correct. But he still leaves assembly. Why? Because he thinks that this assembly is irreligious. I am not qualified to be in assembly because this assembly is very low than my status. So that's why he leaves assembly. So that's a very, very dangerous, as you said, that intelligence, envy comes, intelligence goes. So I felt about what can be better is next time maybe, that since you made now, after telling, it can be more like for every pastime there is these three, it is too many things, too many mood mission, too many personal applications, too many, so it doesn't become focused because so many things. So we have to catch few, maybe 2-3 max from entirety of the topic, because we are dealing with topic of aparadh. Because there are some applications which were not about aparadh, it was more about how to do administration in this world.
Yes.
So that is not connected to topic. So I felt that, but since you did now, so you can think in that direction, and others also, that topic, keep topic in your mind and meditate on the topic, so that the applications and all are according to that. And then you pick and choose. So it will be less. Otherwise, so many, many applications, so many things. I felt that. And you did mention about this respecting, right? So actually, this respecting is a very deep thing. It's the most difficult thing to do, actually. This the third verse of Shikshashtakam. The fourth thing is the most difficult.
Not expect.
Mana dena. Amanena is there. Mana dena means respecting as it behooves. So sometimes, as I understand, initially we may over-respect people. We think that everyone is pure devotee. Right? You said we are in spiritual world. Actually, that feeling is there. But as we spend time, it differs. Right? So respecting as it behooves is something which is very Siddhanta. That's what is there in the Shastra, right? Deho Natha, Sakala Sanmana Korite Shakati, Deho Natha Yathayat. So, over-respect is also a problem. Not just not respecting, under-respecting. In ISKCON, over-respect means what? that if someone leaves, you also leave. That is over respect. Right? Some author that has happened in history of ISKCON. So over respecting is a very, so that's why what is offered to Guru, that is not to be offered to counselor or leader like that. Guru is Guru or Gurus, I would say. It's not just one, no? Gurus who are perfected pure devotees. That respect is Sakshat Haritva and all that Shastra speaks, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado Sakshat Haritvena. So that is the very high respect. That should be given to them only. And others should be respected according to how much they are representing Krishna. And that is told by Kapil Muni in 3.29. So I felt you gave examples of, in ashram initially we do. So it's a very good culture of respect, but it has to be according to how it behooves, because it has to be natural, right? The respect is not just obeisances. Respect is there in the heart. Right? It's not about just offering obeisances, and surely it will come after if it is. But that is one thing which I felt, because he also asked the question that the other person left. Right? He wanted to beg forgiveness. So Bhagavatam says, I think Rukmini Devi, no, not Rukmini, who comes out of Samudra Manthan? Lakshmi ji is doing Swayamvar. So she sees Brihaspati and she says that, no, I will not put here because he has that. So actually Brihaspati leaving shows that he was wanting that. So Vaishnava is beyond that. So she rejects Brihaspati because Brihaspati expected respect, and then he went to Brahma. Then I think Brahmaji chastises him. No. Yeah, he goes to Brahma, right? Indra doesn't get Brihaspati, so he goes to Brahma. Then Brahmaji chastises him and all that. So he has to be available. So it's a very fine thing in Vaishnava assembly. There is expectation of respect, and so that is the thing. So that's how Bhagavatam, as you said in the beginning, that Bhagavatam is teaching us what to do and what not to do. So 24 gurus, our Dattatreya also says that there are some gurus who will teach what not to do and what to do. So all are gurus. Can you imagine? That's how he says. So they are all Guru because they are teaching something to us. So that is one thing I felt. And this is, about the questions which were more or less similar only. And trace of offense, what he said. So that is about the trace of offense to a great soul, like Krishna Preshta person, like Shiva. So that's why the trace has so much of effect that Narad Muni, Bhakti Shakti incarnation decides that I will make him devotee, but he could not make. Right? So it is because of Krishna Preshta Aparad. It is not just any Aparad here in Brahmacharya Ashram. No. It's a very heavy Aparad done to a very, very great lover of God. So that has a very great repercussion. Because when we are conditioned souls, we are doing offenses without knowledge. Right? So what we have to be careful is the greatest Vaishnavas should not be offended. That's why Kapil Muni says that there are many such souls exist, but they are rare, but many exist. So what to do? What is safe? Respect everyone. Respect everyone. That is the only way. What is the goal? Not to offend that one. So that is the heaviness of that one. That he said, "Arey na rahega bas, sabko hi karo baba, kuch problem." Ye Kapil Muni bol rahe hain. So that is the thing. So that's why, actually, as Prabhu also said, you very correctly said that Madhurya Kadambini says, actually one thing is begging forgiveness, one thing is serving and pleasing, but what is the most important thing is admitting and accepting, which generally doesn't happen, at least I can say myself. Many times we don't feel that I have done it, or we don't accept that I have mistaken, or we may do also. So lip service, begging forgiveness is one thing. And so first thing what Madhur Kadambini mentions is, if you feel great remorse, Hare, maine aparadh kar diya, like that. So that is one important aspect which is within. Like repent, you said, when mistake is done, repent. But does everyone repent? To err is human, but to repent is a Vaishnava. In between there are many categories. And to forgive is further Vaishnava, actually. So to repent is a very deep thing. Why Prabhupada says that? Because repentance comes in a heart of a good soul as soon as he commits something wrong. Like Indra. No? Indra immediately understood. He said, Arey, I did some mistake. It's quite sincere. But he went to forgive, but he was not there. So that is the case. I feel that for me, means myself also, I feel that admitting takes a lot of time. Understanding, that's why relationships are required. To convince that yes, there is some mistake there. Yes, and remedy is, yeah, that feast only. That's it. Yes. So, yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your presentation. Hare Krishna, and sorry, we are over time. So tomorrow, who is presenting tomorrow? Who are there here? Who are there tomorrow? Here, there, any of them? Okay, Keshav Nimai. Huh? You are there tomorrow. Who else? Anang Vijay Puhu, Keshav Nimai Puhu, and Raghav Charan. Okay. Thank you. So, please do the need. Hare Krishna.